Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 3 o'clock news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now we've got news out of Pitt County where a sex offender has been arrested. An investigation was launched on June 6th into where 61-year-old John Pippin was living. He was a registered sex offender living in Greenville, registered to be living in Greenville. Now, deputies say their investigation led to them discovering that Pippin was living in Farmville, a violation of the terms of the sex offender registry. We're told it was also discovered that he was living within 1,000 feet of Loving Arms Family Home Child Care Center on West Marlboro Road and Farmville Head Start Center on Anderson Avenue. Pippin has been charged with failure to register as a sex offender and 2 counts of sex offender residence violation. He's being held in the Pitt County Detention Center under a $100,000 secured bond. And now we want to turn our attention to the Trump administration that is rolling back a Biden-era policy that had really suggested and kind of forced the hand of airlines to reimburse people whose flights have been canceled, delayed, or changed. NBC's Tom Costello has the latest on the change.
Yeah, good day. So in December, the Biden administration proposed a new rule that would have required the airlines to compensate passengers if their flights were significantly delayed, 3 hours or more. And that compensation could actually go all the way up to like $775, depending on the length of the delay. Well, the airlines immediately pushed back on that, said it was government overreach, it was inappropriate, it would only drive ticket prices higher. It now does appear, in fact, that that rule is going to be dead on arrival, at least with the Trump administration going forward. The Trump administration is also going to be looking at doing away with a Biden administration rule that we covered extensively here on NBC News, which required the airlines to be much more transparent in their ticket pricing. In other words, no hidden fees whatsoever. The Trump administration also looking into how do you define a canceled flight when, in fact, would the airlines be required to immediately compensate passengers? Now, the DOT yesterday, the Trump administration, saying that, in fact, some of these rules had gone far beyond what Congress had actually approved in terms of passenger rights. Most airlines, by the way, already compensate passengers for their meals and for hotels if flights are significantly delayed or canceled. But now that definition may, in fact, be up for discussion, at least at the DOT. Separately, as you probably know, one of the more popular passenger rights that was pushed forward by the Biden administration was essentially requiring airlines to put families together if they want to be together, right? Kids seating with their families, with their parents. The airlines never liked that because very often it required them to give up more expensive seats to a family. So now that's going to be at least looked at the moment still intact. And separately, the airlines never liked the Biden DOT's dashboard on the website that lists and ranks and scores how airlines do as it relates to customer and passenger service. So all of that right now is up for discussion as the Biden-era rules in many cases now seem to be very much at least in question, if not likely to go away under the Trump administration. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Tom, for that report. We now turn to your weather forecast. Everything looking sunny outside right now. That's going to continue through pretty much all of your Saturday daylight hours. We may see a little bit of cloud cover roll in late Saturday evening, but the rain showers that could potentially come over the weekend largely going to be moving in early Sunday morning, probably when most of us are asleep. Here's what it looks like outside in New Bern through our News River Cam. 89 degrees, feels like 92. We knew we'd have a bit of a heat index, but thankfully the humidity isn't too high right now, at least compared to where it was back in July. 67-degree dew point, again higher than where we were earlier this week, but not quite to its peak. It will reach coming up tomorrow. That's right, we are anticipating a little bit more humidity to re-enter the air mass over the next 24 hours. Now, air temperatures right now holding in the upper 80s to low 90s across just about all of the inland areas of eastern North Carolina. Once you get closer to the water, again, you're seeing more of the low to mid 80s. Overall, it's been, a toastier day than yesterday thanks to the sunshine and the combination of sunshine and south-southwesterly winds that right now are blowing in at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. And it's those winds that have taken the humidity even higher off of yesterday's rise. Coming up for tomorrow, spoiler alert, we've got more humidity on the way. We're going to be seeing a repeat of what you're seeing on your screen. So yeah, that's right. Add another 3, 4, 5, possibly 6 degrees to your dew points of what we're seeing right now. And that puts most of us into the low 70s. Again, it is going to be a fairly humid day coming up for tomorrow, but do want to highlight that it's not going to last all the way through the weekend. Sunday is going to be a transition day where we start out humid and then we will finish quite a bit drier and a little bit more comfortable. But then it's Monday and Tuesday that's really going to see that humidity fall, and it's going to feel quite comfortable as it does just that. Now, here's kind of a look at what's going to be happening across the southeastern United States. That area of low pressure back towards Oklahoma, that's the parent to the cold front that'll be rolling through eastern North Carolina coming up early Sunday morning. I think most of us are likely going to be asleep as it moves over eastern North Carolina, but if you are an early riser, you may end up again maybe seeing a few spot showers, particularly on the eastern side of Highway 17. And now we do also have to highlight the fact that we've got our eyes on an area of concern in the tropics over the next 7 days. Has a high chance of tropical development over the next 48 hours, medium chance of development. But if we are to see any sort of impacts out of that system, it will largely be probably 2 weeks from now at the, we'll give it about 10 days at the very earliest. Certainly nothing showing up on your 8-day forecast. Right now, honestly, it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing impacts from that system. That's going to be more of a Caribbean system than a east coast of the United States system. Now, coming up next week, we do have our eyes on some coastal showers. Going to be increasing Tuesday more so into Wednesday and Thursday. Daytime highs coming up next week, going to pretty much hover around the upper 70s to low 80s. Tomorrow, back in the low 90s, but we will cool off significantly on Sunday. We'll start out humid and warm on Sunday, and then everything cools down as we head into your Sunday night and Monday morning. After that, the forecast becomes fairly consistent despite that chance of some coastal rain on Wednesday and Thursday. Well, that's all we have time for today's 3 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, have a wonderful day.